The landfill that services Rutherford County is nearing capacity, so all the local governments have put together a solid waste advisory committee to come up with a solution, and the first meeting recently took place, and we were there to tell you all about it.
A very, very, very important journey, and it might be sort of the first time we've really done this. Every jurisdiction in the county is represented sitting here tonight, which is a wonderful thing, and that just tells you what an important issue we're trying to discuss here. Where are we going in 7 or 8 or 9, 10 years, ever how many years it turns out, before we don't have the ability to continue to deposit our waste in the Middle Point Landfill.
We really need to talk about what's happening in the future. You know, we don't want to be the group to kick the can down the road and not do anything. And we've had to make some really tough decisions in Murfreesboro. We spend roughly $5.5 million a year picking up trash. And the numbers that we have heard that it could cost us double that moving forward in the future. So under Mayor Burgess's leadership, city leadership, and so excited to have all the jurisdictions represented.
I'd like to just say we're very pleased to be working with you and honored to be working with you to help create a vision for the county and the cities in the county on a strategy for solid waste. You're looking at some challenges going forward that we will talk about and trying to create a path for a sustainable future, a financially viable future, and one that meets your goals is one we're helping to work with you on to craft and recommend back to the governing bodies. Murfreesboro and Rutherford County are very fast growing regions. You are the fastest, I think, proposed growing region in the state, one of the largest from a population standpoint, and we are seeing that there is a tremendous growth of people, and with people and businesses come waste. Looking at this, you know, you're at about 300,000 people in the county right now. The forecasts over the next 15 years, 20 years are to be at 420,000 people. Most importantly as to why we got brought in is that your landfill that you are relying on both as the county and as the regional landfill is expected to run out of capacity in the next 8 years. The county and the city have what's called host community agreements, and this agreement provides very beneficial financial responses to both the city and the county. And when that landfill closes, those benefits stop. So just to give you a sense of what these agreements provide, first of all, for all the county waste, which is about 38,000 tons a year that comes through the recycle centers, that waste gets disposed of at no cost to the county. In addition, the city, which generates around 42,000 tons a year, can deliver its waste to the landfill at no cost to the city. The county receives a benefit, a financial benefit of $1.20 for every ton of out-of-county waste that comes to the landfill, and right now that is about 650,000 tons a year, and that goes right to the county general fund. To give you a sense for when that landfill closes, the loss of the host fee, which is at $1.20, is approximately $780,000 a year. But more importantly, the free disposal that you're currently getting is if you went to a market rate of, say, $55 to send it somewhere, and that's both a transportation and disposal number, hypothetically, that's over $2 million a year to the county. For the city, it's $2.3 million.
The plan states 9 objectives, but then you have sort of the implied objective and intention of a plan, which is to implement all the strategies that are listed in it. Without an implementation approach, you've got some good ideas, but you're also going to need how you're going to do it, who's going to do it, how you're going to pay for it. The first line on slide 17 is a goal of reducing waste generation. That's a pretty ambitious goal. That you see there, reducing from a statewide average of a little over 5 pounds per person per day to a little more than 3 pounds per person per day.
This is the current services that are provided, and we'll go into a little bit more detail on this. And this gives you a sense for both population as well as growth. And as you can see, you know, there's fairly significant growth, especially in the city, in the town of Smyrna. The level of service depends. You know, I think, for example, in city of Murfreesboro, It's a much higher level of service than some of the other communities. The county does provide, obviously, the landfill and the recycle centers, but does not provide collection services per se.
So here is a map of the state, as we know, and we wanted to pull this up because it's, again, this is reflecting what tons of landfill disposal. The more intense the color, the more tons out of that county. It is broken up by the counties. And of course, we can clearly identify the 3 large cities plus our other growing cities. What I really want to point out here is it's not only the counties where the cities, with the big cities where we see the intense color. You see regions expanding and growing, a corridor going up from Chattanooga, expanding region around Nashville. This reflects the increase and the growth of the waste, as we've talked about population growth bringing waste generation growth.
Right now, Metro Nashville government has a request for proposal to do an update to their solid waste plan. They're about to start a similar process to figure out where they should take their existing system, which has recycling, let's say, about 30% or so, and figure out what to do to get as close to zero waste as possible. There is a pretty innovative facility that got built close to here in Lebanon, a gasification project that takes 64 tons per day of wood chips and sewage sludge to make energy.
The biggest waste stream percentage, as you can see in this, from a big major category, is paper. In paper, whether it be waste cartons from cereal boxes or detergent boxes, things of that nature, all of that fall into the category of paper. The second largest component out there is organics. And organics typically comprise food waste and yard waste. Those are the 2 major components of organics. Plastics are a big component and a growing component of solid waste. And plastics is not just plastics. We want to talk about the fact that you start with policy. From your policies come, what do you do? What are the programs you are going to implement? How do they affect recycling? What type of education is needed to manage your waste stream? And from there, you have to figure out what technology is going to be used to implement the policies and the programs that you've established. In our proposal, I think we had about an 11-month time frame to do the work. You'll see we have proposed 3 workshops. At some point, I think you will look to get outreach from the community and actually ask their opinion on things. We're hoping to develop what we call a draft strategic plan, and that's for the county and the communities that are in here. And that is a plan that will hopefully be whatever your time period is, 20 years, 30 years, whatever time horizon. I think we're looking at least 20 years from a planning perspective. That plan needs to go through a review process, probably back to your elected officials, to the public. You then want to finalize that plan. You then want to finalize that plan and then implement that plan.
So we appreciate you spending your time and the time that you're going to spend over really the next year in helping study, not only study, but hopefully make a recommendation and also see this through implementation. So we really appreciate it. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you spending your time and look forward to meaningful dialogue in the many months to come.